Hi guys, today we're going to talk about passing on the outside. I just want to kind of cover the three main problems that we're going to run into when we're trying to pass around the outside of the legs, or like doing like say a Toriando or bullfighter style pass. So I'm going to get my partner on their back, and of course, especially Nogi, but in general, whenever the person's playing guard, of course they're going to be trying to always maintain like short legs, keep good knee and elbow connection, and anytime we start to threaten the pass, so for example, if I'm starting in a standing position, hands on the knees, as I start making my way around the guard, okay, the first problem we already talked about is the elbow and knee connection. We'll talk more about that in a second. As I start coming around to the side, I'm going to take my hand and I'm going to put my hand on the ribs, so that as I start to work around the guard and I try to walk past the hip line here, where I'll have a stronger angle to start trying to force her knee out of the way to finish the pass. But the thing is that we're usually going to run into their high step when we do this if we're not paying attention and trying to block it. So what we're going to do, again, I'm just going to demonstrate the high step here. As I come around, my head's nice and high, and she brings her foot inside and pushes me away and recovers the guard. So what we want to do is we always want to make sure that as we're making our way past this imaginary line that we're going to call the hip line here, as I'm working my way around, my head has to stay in line or lower than my opponent's knee. So it'll be like this. As I start working my pass, my elbow is also on the inside of her hip, framing. As I start working my way around, my head comes in. So now here, as she tries to pummel her foot inside, there's just no room for it. And I just keep my head nice and low. Now, from this position, we can start to walk ourselves backwards so that we can start to push the knee away to break this elbow and knee connection, just like so. But another thing we have to talk about is the framing. Okay, of course, too, that my opponent, while trying to maintain their elbow and knee connection, they're also going to be framing on us, right? So as I come around, I block the high step with my head. She starts framing on my shoulders, pushing me away. Well, we just talked about how we're going to beat the elbow and knee connection, and that was to push the knee down the line. That's also how we're going to get through the frames. Instead of me just pushing into her frames, and me just trying to get chest to chest, it's never a good idea for me to push straight into the frames like this, of course. So instead, I'm just going to walk down the line where her frames are no longer strong. Okay? Another option to get through the frames. Maybe I did a good job at breaking her elbow and knee connection from this angle. I'm pushing the leg through, I've broken it. But now maybe instead of walking the hips all the way down, another way we can break through the frames, framing on my chest, we can also just blade our shoulders. So look, I can take my hand off the knee and I'm gonna reach, coming from the outside, reaching between the arms, I'm gonna drop my left shoulder and face the legs, like this. As long as we can blade our shoulders, the frame is gonna have a really, really hard time staying strong, pushing us away. We can also do this facing the head as well. I personally don't prefer this, but you can do it. So again, same idea. We're coming around and managing to open up the leg like this, but the last step is I just can't get through her frame. The other option here is I can go through the arms and face the head, boom, and start looking for things like the scarf hold or kisakatami. Again, I personally don't prefer this option. I always will choose to face the legs when given the option, just because it's going to be much easier for me to now start working, say, transition into mount. But I'll leave that up to you guys. So again, just to recap, our problems that we're going to run into when we're trying to pass around the outside of the legs is this elbow and knee connection. If I don't break it, as I come around and I try to drop chest to chest, her knee will always be inside, giving her the space to start recovering the guard. So I never want to try to hug the head when the knee and elbow is connected. The other thing is, as we're coming around, we never want their high step to make contact with us with the sole of the foot, because now, no matter how much I push, her leg will always be strong enough to frame me away, push me away, and ultimately recover her bottom leg back. Okay? And then lastly, we have the upper body framing. Anytime she's framing hard on my chest and I'm pushing in, this is always a mistake to push directly into the frame. Instead, I'm gonna move away from it. I can go down. I could go up into, say, knee on belly position, okay? Or we can also shift our shoulders. So look, in this case, my left shoulder is gonna drop. As I reach through, and face the legs. And last and least in my opinion, we can go through the arms, shifting towards the head, and look for a scarf hold or a kesukatemi. So again, guys, these are just 3 common problems that you're gonna run into when you're trying to pass the guard around the legs, and some solutions to those problems. Thanks, guys.